Welcome back to this already, the final segment of today's Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. As I've been saying, I've been doing this series of programs about aspiring radio talk shows in the making and proposed ideas for radio talk shows. And I tell you, we were deluged, absolutely deluged with individuals who are interested in pitching their ideas. Frankly, a lot of them I didn't pursue doing an interview with, but we have lots of interviews lined up, and they're all, the ones that we have all lined up, I'm excited about, and I think you as a listener are going to be interested as well. And Bryan Mattimore, he's on next. He's co-founder and chief idea guy. I heard a CIO, but I guess this is a CIG for his company called Growth Engine. And Bryan, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Kevin. It's really exciting to be on your show.
Tell us a little bit about your background and Growth Engine.
Well, the Growth Engine Company, we're an innovation agency in Norwalk, Connecticut. We've been around for 16 years, and we help companies come up with new stuff. It's certainly the obvious things are new products and positioning new products, that kind of work. But we also do marketing strategy work, even creative cost-cutting work, wargaming, et cetera. Any time a company needs a new idea or a new way of thinking, they give us a call.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And how long have you guys been doing this?
We've been doing it the company's been in business for 16 years. Before that, I was a full-time, we call them ideation facilitator. If your listeners may not know that, a brainstorming facilitator. So I was doing about 100 ideation sessions a year, mostly with large companies, but sometimes with some of the smaller guys as well.
Okay. And what do those look like, by the way?
What, ideation sessions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
They sound a little obvious, you come in to deal with a specific problem, and then you take different approaches to look at that problem, I would assume is a lot of it.
We do. We are expert in, quote, ideation processes. So we have, dozens of different techniques we use to help people think differently. And so we spend a fair amount of time designing these sessions. The sessions could be anywhere from maybe a couple of hours to sometimes as long as 2 days if it's strategy work. But typically a new product ideation session, we did one last week or a few weeks ago for Chobani, for instance, inventing new yogurts. That was a day-long session, and those are typically how long those are. And then we'll also go and do further research and test these ideas with consumers to make sure that we're coming up with stuff that people want.
So you indicated an interest in doing a program. What would that look like, and have you developed one as of yet?
Well, the idea, I'm going to call it idea storming, or we could call it the idea crowd, the idea show. The idea is that the simple way to say it is that it would be an on-air brainstorming session. And the idea is that listeners would be an important part of this. We'd probably get an outside expert. I would moderate, host, facilitate the show. And the listeners would call in with creative challenges, typically business challenges. I'm a photographer, I'm trying to get new work, or I own a restaurant, I need to do something different, I'm in the oil and gas business is slow, whatever it is. And we could use both the ideation or creative techniques that I know to stimulate both myself and possibly an expert guest, but also the listeners. And they could call in with ideas, and we could work those and get more ideas. People could write in. And so, to me, it would be a really fun and interesting way for the audience to participate with ideas, to learn some new techniques, and to help the people that are calling in with their challenges.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And so I would assume that you would just solve a problem with show, more than likely.
Well, we could. It would depend. We'd have to figure out the formatting a little bit, but we could maybe have several challenges going. People could call in with challenges. They could submit them beforehand, or they could just call into the show. Other people could call in with ideas. We could have people. We could keep the show going on over time, where people continue to write in with different ideas. So I'm thinking that it could be, several challenges that we would address in any one show, if it's a half-hour show, hour show, whatever it is. And I think it could be really fun. The idea is that we would also try to make it fun and funny, I think, all of the car guys. And so people are learning something but also being entertained at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And so is this something that you envision actually launching, or is it merely something that you enjoy chatting with others about? Kind of tell us where you are with that.
We're pretty busy with our consulting work. I just wrote a new book. It's called 21 Days to a Big Idea. That's going to come out in the fall. So we're busy, but if there were a producer or a certain group of radio stations were interested, we'd be happy to talk with them about it. I have tested the idea. I tested it a number of years ago on NBC Radio, WNBC Radio in New York City with Alan Combs, and it was really fun, and I was convinced it worked, and I also tested it with a Cape Cod radio station. So, I'm convinced it's a good idea. I think the timing is probably good with the whole reality show thing, but also crowdsourcing. The whole idea is that listeners, they have great ideas and really can help one another to come up with these ideas with the right stimulus. So, so we're open. If somebody's got one that they'd like to talk to us about it, we'd be happy to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. And what do you got coming out? When is your new book coming out?
The book is coming out in the fall. I think the publication date is November 17th. As I say, it's called 21 Days to a Big Idea. It's published by Diversion Books. They publish Mark Cuban's biography, and so they're a great publisher to work with. The subhead is Creating Breakthrough Ideas. But the whole idea behind the book is that people can spend 21 days doing, for about an hour a day, almost like an exercise program, doing these techniques and generating all kinds of ideas. And at the end of this 21-day program, they will have several big ideas that they could pursue, either new products or ideas for new businesses or whatever. I've tested this both at Columbia University and overseas at Moscow University, and the process really works. So we're really excited about the book.
Interesting. So, that's interesting. Moscow University, when did you do that work?
Well, we did that about a year ago. It was with Skolkovo University, which I had never heard of, but it's I think the biggest university in Moscow. We did the work with Bob Dorff, who wrote the Startup Owner's Manual. He had us come over. He told me the problem is I can help them get the ideas to market successfully, but their ideas are terrible. So can you come up with a program to help people create better ideas? And so that's what I did both in Moscow as well as at Columbia University, where Bob Dorff also teaches.
Yeah, I've been to the University of Moscow a couple of times, actually. In the 1990s, I did a lot of work, international work, on teaching free market economics in the former Soviet republics and in Eastern Europe. And,
gee, they got the message.
I don't know. I mean, talk about crony capitalism, but it couldn't be any less free market. But, boy, I tell you, that's one of the most breathtaking views is right there from the footsteps of Moscow University. Wow, that's incredible, where you can see the Olympic grounds from 1980. Really amazing. Well, listen, I appreciate you spending time with us. Fascinating concept, and I hope you keep us posted on how things unfold. Bryan Mattimore, he again is the co-founder of Growth Engine. That's growth-engine.com. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Kevin. This is really fun.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here can be found over there at usdatareview.com. Have a great rest of your day and spend it wisely on this station.